Let's do this.
Hello and welcome to Whatever the Weather, another Arsenal podcast. Listen, you join us on Tuesday, the 15th of October. International break, obligatory international break podcast, for which I'm joined by Dan
Hello.
and by Tom.
Hello.
So let's get straight into whatever it is we have to get into. Arsenal players during the international break. How have we performed? We've picked up some injuries, one that was pretty key. And we've spoken about this before, how I'm not a big fan of international breaks. So, and there is another one coming up next month.
Scrap them all. I'm done with them. Seriously, complete waste of time, energy, and money.
Abolish the Nations League is what you're
serious,
saying.
Man.
Yeah.
Only proper tournaments I'm interested in. Cannot be asked with these silly games against Greece and Finland and whatever. Can't do it. I mean, if we win a Premier League or a Champions League, I might go back to international football. But right now, there is more important things to do right now. I cannot see Arsenal players go off and get injured playing for another team. It winds me up so much. And I'm I say I'm a massive England fan. I used to be a massive England fan until we started being competitive. And now, like, I hate everyone. Give me back my players. Okay. I am done with it.
And there is the podcast title right there. Give me back my players.
You've got an important game against Bournemouth on Sunday, all right?
Yeah.
I don't need to see Declan Rice play against Finland and friggin' Greece. I'm just done with it. Sorry.
What is your problem with the Finnish and Greek people? I mean, really, like.
Oh, no problem with them personally. I mean, I don't think I've ever met a Finnish person, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there are many of them, but Tom, have you been enjoying the international break?
I have not watched a second of it.
Good boy. Yeah.
It's living in California. There's not the kind of tabloid and media hysteria about England games that there obviously is in England. Here, nobody could care less. I don't know. It is beautiful, yeah.
It does sound good.
I normally check out the results and then I go on YouTube and I'm unable to find the highlights because they're copyrighted. And then I find myself watching somebody's phone footage from the crowd of a goal, and I think I'm not enjoying myself here. I think, like a lot of Arsenal fans, all I'm really interested in is seeing whether our players get substituted for injury or not. That's the only thing I'm really worried about. And yeah, Bukayo Saka limping off during an international match is a very worrying thing. But like I said last time I was on this podcast, if Saka does have to miss a game or two, I'm sure Mikel can rejig the team so that it can still perform properly. We were all very worried when Odegaard got injured, and Arsenal have been on a rich run of form since he's been off.
Oh,
and I think we're better equipped in that part of the pitch now. Anyway, now I think Sterling can fill in. Inweri could probably play in that position if we needed him to. I think what's probably going to happen is Saka's going to have a fitness test for the Bournemouth game, and knowing him, he'll play. I think, I cannot imagine a situation where he's available for selection and Arteta doesn't use him.
Well, yeah, I mean, as we were talking about before we started recording, so obviously Carsley is no longer the England manager; it's Thomas Tuchel. Carsley did say before the Finland game that Saka could have been potentially available for that, but he didn't want him to travel. So, you can take some good from that, in that he's been wrapped in cotton wool and sent home, and that's, as Arsenal fans, I think that's what we want.
Abundance of caution. Let's have some of that. That sounds good.
Definitely. Yeah.
Kai Havertz's air quotes, listeners, knee problem, which has kept him at London Colney rather than going off to play with Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was good enough for Man United in the 90s, it's good enough for us now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
If you're not sure what
well,
I'm talking about there, listener, I'm talking about clubs lying about injury status to keep their players out of international duty.
well, it's why Giggs never played for Wales because Alex Ferguson just wouldn't let him.
He probably
Like,
didn't fancy it as well. He was used to playing in a good team.
oi, come on now. I promised James that I wouldn't mention Wales on this podcast, and I've already done it. So, um,
That
This is
lasted
what happens. This is
four
what happens when
minutes.
you're not here, James.
you snooze, you lose, mate. Like,
Run them up.
yeah, I'm gonna run amok talking about Wales. No, no, I'm not. Um, yeah, it's you know what, it's just trying. It gets to a certain point in the month, and you're like, why are we doing this? Like, why are we still doing? Like, I could understand if there hadn't been, the Euros in the summer, and you need to, have international games, but during the basically the first 4 months of the season, you have three international breaks.
It's insane.
There's another one next month as well. I could understand the reasoning in a way for trying to make friendlies seem important by setting up the Nations League.
No friendlies. None. Leave
No,
it.
no, no, there are no friendlies anymore. Like, they don't exist. So
I mean, the players have been complaining about overplaying. I think it's, talking of strike and stuff like that. It's quite
mm.
hilarious.
Well, it was Rodri who spoke about that, so fuck him. But
Yeah,
yeah.
and now he's got a long old break, hasn't he? So he's got
Oh,
some time off,
well,
bless
how
him.
convenient
So
for him. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
but
I mean,
no, I mean,
sorry, I was going to ask, would you guys feel different? I mean, will you guys feel differently when we get to March and it's 2026 World Cup qualifying rather than the Europa Nations League, whatever it
Mm,
is?
no, I won't. I don't even think we should do World Cup qualifiers. I just think the top 46 teams that are in the ranking should just be going through automatically. Or if you want, you can do like 36 and then the last 12 or whatever it is. But it's completely pointless.
mm,
There's no point in World Cup qualifiers because they've got so many teams in the competition now. They've extended it
mm,
again, haven't they? So
Yeah.
hmm
it's,
Yeah.
if you're a semi-decent team, you'll probably be in the tournament. I don't know if Wales will be there, but it is what it is.
Shut up, Dan.
Well, there's 16 spots available for 55 UEFA teams to compete for, which is rather a lot, or 54 because Russia are suspended for being dirty boys.
Yeah.
I'm just honestly, as I said, if we win the Premier League or the Champions League, I might go back. But right now, international football is the very least of my concerns.
Mm.
I'd put it, and this says a lot for me, below the Carabao Cup because
Ooh.
that's how
You know
much
what?
I have a disinterest in international football right now.
I'm actually not going to disagree with that.
And I mean,
Like, it is pretty low on my agenda.
if you have
Yeah.
previously listened to this podcast, not a big fan of the Carabao Cup either, to be fair. So, um, the fact that I say it's lower than that,
Yeah, yeah.
I think shows my disdain for international football. And I'm glad this break is over. Normal service is resuming. Unfortunately, we had injury scares with Martinelli, with
Mm,
Saka. I'm hearing rumors of Tomiyasu being injured again, but I think that was in the 5 minutes he played in the last game.
mm.
So well done for Tomiyasu for lasting 5 minutes before getting injured again. That's always
Yeah.
helpful. Um, if it is true, then I don't know what more we can do with Tomiyasu. I mean, the quality's there, but if he's not fit, what can we do? It might be looking time to get rid.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I'd be that drastic about it. Like he is a good player. Like, lots of our players have previously been injury prone. Dan and I are both if you're regular listeners to this, Dan and I are both big fans of Thomas Partey. That guy's been through a lot of stuff with injuries, and touch wood at the moment, he seems to be okay.
Just
You know,
jinxed it. You've just
oh,
ruined
for
the
God's
season.
sake, yeah, I know.
Why would you do
No,
that?
I don't know, Dan. I just, he's gonna he's gonna really violently stub his toe, like,
So,
going to the bathroom just within about 20 seconds of me saying that, and yeah, he's gonna be out. Um, so
no, I mean
but
with
what I mean is like maybe giving players like that who we sort of come to assume are injury prone, which let's be fair, Thomas Partey was pretty injury prone, but yeah, I don't know. He seems
it's
to be a
good that
stalwart. He's a
yeah.
stalwart of the team, and I feel like Tommy Yasu can be that player as well. Like, I like the player a lot, I must say. I
Yeah, but
do.
how much time do you give him? Like
Mm,
how much leeway do you give? Because we were looking at shifting Thomas Partey in the summer,
mm,
and we still haven't signed him up to a new contract. He's got 1 year left. So um, even though
yeah.
Partey is still a good player and he's managed to get a run of games together, I don't think Mikel sees him as long-term planning. And um,
Mm.
and as we've stated many a time on this podcast, Mikel knows exactly what we need. So if he's not signing Partey to a new contract, then you might be looking elsewhere. I can't mention, Mikel will be able to rejig the squad with the Martinelli injury. With this, it's just a lot. Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard. That does take some jigging, and if anyone can do it, it's Mikel. But it's just, I just really want you want to just see that best first 11. We haven't seen that yet. And you know, I think the last time we saw our best 11 for a run of games was when Zinchenko and Jesus first come in, and they're like the first 10 games, and we were unbelievable. And then shit started to go wrong with injuries and stuff. And I don't think we've had
International
our
football.
yeah, Jesus
Yeah.
doing his
Oh, yeah,
knee
the
or
oh the
whatever it
elephant
is.
the elephant in the room that we've already discussed. But yes.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So
Absolutely.
Gabriel Jesus, yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, Jesus done his knee, and it
Mm,
was just it all went Pete on. But
mm,
um, getting that starting 11, I don't know if Partey is in that starting midfield. I don't know if that's the long-term thing.
mm,
Um, we'll see.
Well, I mean, the most important thing is the next game. Whether he's still here next season or not, it's kind of immaterial when you look at the fixtures that we've got coming up. Those are games we need to win, and we need to put an 11 out. He's obviously a favourite of Mikel's, regardless of his contract situation. So
Yeah,
I think he'll play against Bournemouth. I think he'll probably play against Shakhtar. I think he'll probably play against Liverpool. Preston will probably get the night off.
mm. Well, I don't know, man. They could be a bit of a bogey team, Preston. But no, no, I mean, I agree with you. But the thing I find funny is the fact that you need to state that because for me, he's just, he's part of our midfield. Like he should be there. He should
Well,
be
we
there
did,
as a.
we did, but we did buy Mikel Marino.
Mm,
yeah,
I
that's
think
what I'm saying.
I think that it's very likely that he'll probably take the party position and Rice will become a slightly like he'll play further forward. I feel that's a transition that's probably going to happen
mm,
organically over the course of the season
Oh,
because
really?
that's what I'd imagine the future is, unless
Oh,
Party gets injured and forces the issue quicker.
mm,
I thought that would mean the way I saw it was that Rice would become that number six and Marino would stay in that eight,
mm,
maybe. But
You could be right. I mean, I think the analysis videos I've seen have our midfield kind of acting as a kind of rotational square where everybody keeps changing position and just confusing the
yeah,
crap out of everybody.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's always the thing. It's like when for example, when we say, our Thomas Partey is starting at right back or whatever, and you're just like, no, he's not. Like, he's not going to play most of the game there. Like, that's just what just
Yeah,
that's just what the team put out and say, oh, this is that formation, this is how we're going to do it, which is
like
obviously nonsense because it's just not how it works. Like,
like
if you see how
loosely out of
far, like,
position. That's where I'll stand. Yeah.
yeah. But you see how like a player like Calafiori is playing, and he's just that guy is running forward. That guy's making runs. Like his
the Italian stallion.
oh,
What a
mate,
boy Ricky is.
yeah, oh mate, I'm yeah, absolutely brilliant. Did you see Trossard's Instagram post with them together? which I find really funny because like Calafiori has a good like what like I don't know like a good like foot on him or something. He's so tall. Um,
I think
but
Trossard
yeah.
got a goal and assist against Italy, didn't he?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
and
know
and
they had a bit of banter at the end, which is quite fun. But you know what? That's one thing I will say. As much as you know, as we've discussed, like not liking international breaks, when you've got when there are players who play for Arsenal go up playing against each other, and then you sort of see their interaction at the end of the game, it is quite fun. I will say that. But I mean, that's like that's a small part, a small thing to enjoy, isn't it? Like it's not you know um
I mean, Trossard scored from a set piece with Calafiori and that, which is quite funny. So,
yeah.
um, no, well, the only good thing I guess of them playing against each other is they won't try and injure each other. Hopefully,
Oh, that's a
they
good
know about
point.
the greater
Yeah.
cause. But no, I honestly, mate, these international breaks are really. I was saying like we were lucky with injuries last year. I say that Timber was out for the whole year, Partey
Mm.
for most of it as well. But I mean, in general, we were able to keep the core team together. This year has seemed very, yeah, we keep on picking up these knocks and it's not been consistent. And we've had the hardest start I've seen in years and years, and yet we've
In
still
terms of
managed.
fixtures, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And
and
yet
and this next
we're still
next run of
third.
fixtures
So
as well.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
these next run of fixtures isn't easy either. And
yeah. Mm.
you know,
Although I will say it's good that in October we actually have two games at home because it did feel like last month we were playing mostly away. So,
but yeah,
you
in the
know,
next seven, I think in the next seven we've got like five away games or something.
mm. Well, we've
It,
got Bournemouth away on Saturday, and then after that we've got Shakhtar at home, then Liverpool at home on the 27th of October. And then the game we're all really looking forward to, which is the League Cup game against Preston away.
oh, the
Um,
mighty Preston
oh,
North
the
End,
mighty Preston.
Invincibles versus Invincibles.
Oh my God, that is actually true, isn't it?
That is true.
Wow. Yeah. But apparently, according to Graham Souness, being an invincible or being Arsene Wenger is irrelevant. Like apparently Arsene Wenger doesn't know anything about football.
He's not a football man.
He's not a football man, despite that he's won more FA Cups than any other. Yeah, he's not a football man. He doesn't like football at all, you know.
It,
Do you know what the context of Graham Souness making those remarks was?
I actually don't because you know, um, I've only seen that part of it, obviously.
it was Simon Jordan, wasn't it? He was asking a question, is like, do you like Arsene Wenger? Is he a football man? And Souness went no, and it seemed like he was quite bitter because he mentioned that, oh, he never came into my office to have a glass of wine and talk football. So I think he was just quite hurt, really, that Arsene had better things to do
Is
than
that
speak to a
why?
moody
He's
Scottish
like,
wanker.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like Arsene has better things to do than come into your office and talk football with you.
Mm,
Clearly didn't miss much because you don't know what you're talking about, Graham.
yeah.
So not you, Graham,
Well,
obviously,
No, that's
Souness.
okay. Don't
I
worry.
mean, you don't know what you're
well,
talking about either, but it's fine. We let you off because you're the producer.
Easy. And also, his Graham is spelt the wrong way.
Oh, well.
Like that's not how you spell my name, you know.
he didn't just he backed it up with the idea that Wenger inherited the best defense in English football, Dennis Bergkamp, a free scoring Ian Wright, and signed like some of the best players in French football that just no one else knew about yet.
Mm.
He says if you compare the first 10 years of Wenger's reign to the second 10 years, like there is a huge difference. And kind of said like, yeah, he was great when he had amazing raw materials to work
Mm.
with, but
Yeah, but the idea of saying that he's not a football man when he bought in
Zero
all
context added
yeah,
to that, by
yeah,
the way.
exactly. Like the idea
yeah,
of
but
saying
that's
he's
how clickbait works.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know
of
that,
course.
and yet we're still and yeah, that's part of the that's kind of part of the point, isn't it? Because now we're talking about it. So, you know,
I don't care what Graham
the
Souness thinks about anything. I've never cared, and I never will. It's completely irrelevant.
yeah.
And it's just on some it's just it was just talking shit on a podcast.
I
What I
know.
did find funny though was that in Arsene Wenger's career, he managed to sign George Weah, and
Mm.
in Graham Souness's career, he managed to sign George Weah's fake cousin, Ali Dia for Southampton.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, seriously hilarious. But it's Arsene who's not the football man. But
That's
yeah,
very funny.
Oh my God.
Ali Dia, yeah.
actually has Premier League minutes.
Oh my God, that's actually, to be fair, that is actually brilliant.
Well, yeah,
That's actually brilliant.
Arsene Wenger was the death knell of the football that Graham Souness enjoyed as a player in the first couple of years of his
Mm,
managerial career. Like he taught
mm.
players like, hey, like vegetables are better for you than cigarettes. He changed the game. All these crazy cosmopolitan ideas,
I
like
know, like
not playing hungover.
yeah, maybe don't drink like 8 pints before the game, Paul Merson, and it might be, things might work out better for you.
So I think my favourite bit of the Perry Groves book was where he talked about scoring an absolute worldie from about 25 yards, and he was still drunk from the night before. He couldn't remember what the goal was like by the time he came off the pitch, so he had to watch Match of the Day, and he was like, "Wow, that was a good one." I think it was a league match, like at Highbury, like at full
Oh
stadium,
my
like
God.
unbelievable. Well, as full as it would have been in the later Perry Groves years.
The late Perry Groves.
We all live in a Perry Groves world.
We do, we do, we do.
I
So
remember I went to the Legends match and we were playing Real Madrid Legends and Perry Groves was there and I was in club level. I just kept on shouting, Perry, give us a wave. But while he was using his asthma pump, bless him,
no. Oh my God.
and it's like, Perry,
Oh,
give us a wave, Perry, Perry. And then he waved at us and then obviously
no
we
way.
all lost our shit. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, amazing. So yeah,
Arsenal legend.
yeah, Premier League's coming back. Champions League is coming back. Dan is going to the Shakhtar game.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the our start in the Champions League, Dan?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased to be fair. Um, say I had a little bit of luck in that Atalanta game with well, I say luck. I mean, it was a great penalty save from David Raya. I mean,
Mm,
really good. To go away and get a draw was good. And then beating PSG, I thought was quite impressive. I thought we were very mature and um, very professional performance. And then Shakhtar, expect the same really.
mm.
Do the business. Um, and yeah, just what is it? The top 12, top 24. How many is it? I don't friggin'
Are we
know.
going through this again?
No, it's
Like
just is it the first eight? The
it's
first
a
eight
30
qualify,
it's a 36 game. It's a 36 team league.
and the first
So
eight
it's,
qualify, and
and
then
then
the
Nah.
second eight.
the next 16, I think, then have a knockout tournament. So you have
Yeah.
16 for the next
And
round.
everyone below that gets relegated. They don't get to go into the Europa League and then go on and win it, which I quite like. Um,
Relegated, I think eliminated.
Eliminated, sorry, did I say
Nobody,
relegated?
nobody drops down to the next one down.
Right,
No.
yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
no one drops down to the lower cup. So yeah,
So I
which
think it's important we get that top eight, just so there's not an extra two games that we have to play.
mm,
The fixture build up. I mean, unless they want to throw in a few more international breaks as well.
I mean, I'm guessing it would be 4 games if it's a
No,
well,
I
I
think
don't
you just go into a yeah, you go into a playoff and it's
oh,
a
does it?
two-legged
Oh, I
yeah,
see. Okay, yeah.
two-legged thing. So it's an extra two games. And I mean, yeah, you just don't want that. So
No.
if we can cinch qualification automatically as soon as possible,
Mm,
that'll be good. But with the league system, it's very hard to do. I don't think you can just like, in the group stages, it would be after 4 games, you probably knew if you were going through or not. There wasn't
mm,
too much you had to do. With the
Mm.
league system, it's
mm.
just,
But you know what? That's kind of the reason why I like it.
yeah.
Like, I'm I'm not probably not alone in this, but probably aren't too many people who agree with me on this, but I actually really like this new format.
Mm,
Because
Um, it just seems like look, like when there were group stages and it was very, as Dan says, actually. So the reason the reason I'm disagreeing with you is because actually what you just said, like, so with the group stages, it was easy to say, okay, well, we're going to be in the top two, we're going to go through, and then as I said earlier, like if you finish third, then you just go into the Europa League. So at the end of the day, you can play for third place. Whereas with this system, you can't. Like you could play for the playoffs, I suppose, but then you're giving yourself another barrier. So yeah, I don't know.
Does
I think
don't we run the risk of there being some extremely uncompetitive games after about 4 or 5 matches in when there's a whole
mm,
bunch of teams who haven't got a single point yet, who can't qualify anymore and are literally just running down the clock?
yeah, but didn't we have that? But that was the same problem with the group stage as well. Like if a
Yeah, I'm sure.
team
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
if
but
a team was
I'm saying that this
if a
news.
team was through and a team was out and they're playing each other, then it's like this is a completely pointless game. So those games will still exist, obviously,
Yeah,
but
I think the reason UEFA went for this is because in theory you'll get more interesting and diverse, higher profile matches earlier in the
mm,
competition, just because of the way the seeding works. You know, like everyone
yeah,
has to play two
mm,
teams from all the other pots, I think is how it's worked.
mm,
Yeah, but I'm less interested in any other games, to be fair. Like, if you had four teams in your group, you would watch,
mm.
the other you'd be keeping an eye on the results or
I will
watching the
s-
other game.
I will say that
Whereas,
since this started, like I've found myself caring less about watching Champions League highlights. Even just
yeah,
going on YouTube to watch like the goals and stuff, I found myself less interested in that because I'm just watching basically I'm just looking at a league table.
Yeah, Arsenal
So
are currently 13th with 4 points.
the the space for change in that is there and but again, which is the thing that I like about it. So
yeah.
The
Well,
league doesn't take shape really until December anyway, right? That probably
mm.
goes for this as well when they've played all but two of the games.
Yeah, and again that's why I like it because it doesn't I mean currently like top of the Champions League group is sorry league rather is Dortmund followed by Brest, you know.
we were like 12th in the French league or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a listen, it sounds a bit weird saying that I feel this format, especially, being that it's a UEFA competition. Um, saying that I think this format makes it kind of seem a bit more democratic sounds really weird, but in a way, I actually think it does.
If you say so, buddy. I, I have no idea. I just know that it's
Yeah.
the group stage is going until the end of Jan, which is
Mm,
weird in itself. I'm not used to it. I can't tell you if I like it or not yet.
mm,
Um, right now I'm just, do you know what? And these games have really snuck up. The Champions League games just, I'm so focused on the league currently. It's just
yeah, same,
unreal.
same.
Like I'm thinking Bournemouth, like what,
Mm,
what's going to happen? Who's going to be fit? Because Bournemouth away, like there's no cliche time, but there's no easy games in the Premier League,
mm.
unless it's Southampton and Leicester at home. But apart from that, no,
Okay, well, you just killed both of those for like,
no.
uh,
But Bournemouth away, I think we won last year. Was it 1-0? 1-0, 2-0?
mm,
I remember. I remember Saka
yeah,
scoring. Um, and yeah, it's just what type of team we go with, who's fit, who's available. I don't know if Timber's going to be back. I don't know
mm.
if Zinchenko is anywhere near. Don't know if Saka's fit, Martinelli's fit.
I'd actually forgotten about Zinchenko.
Well, I don't know if Ben White's fit. Like we've had a good few
Mm.
injuries at the
Yeah,
start of
oh,
this season,
definitely, definitely.
and we've
Um,
coped quite well. But
yeah, I mean, actually, Bournemouth have performed pretty well this season. I mean, they're 13th on 8 points. Um,
We beat them 4-0 away last year.
yeah, that is
4-0.
that
Bloody
is
hell.
true. Yeah, yeah, that is true.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember Saka scoring, but I don't.
Do you remember Kai Havertz being given the ball to score a penalty?
Ah,
Oh, was it
yes.
that game?
Yeah.
Yes. I remember it now.
Ah, okay, okay. Do you know
The
what's
A,
quite?
sy
Do
a
you want to know
sympathy
something?
goal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, to be fair, it did kind of. I
Work.
don't know. It did work. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's not scored. Let's just give him this goal.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
either that or moving him into strike. I think moving him, put him in the number nine might
Yeah,
have done it. And not a,
perhaps. Yeah.
was it a pity penalty?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
It's
again, I actually think he needed the pity penalty. Do you guys want to know something really funny? So Bournemouth were playing on Saturday, are on 8 points, with a goal difference of -2. The team below them are Manchester United, who are also on 8 points, but with a goal difference of -3.
yes. I have longed for
And
these
be- and
times,
be- and
honestly.
and being that we all sort of being that we all got out of football in the 90s, seeing Manchester United capitulate like this is absolutely hilarious. Like, I'm loving every minute of it. I'm loving it. Like, more so than, and actually, Dan, I think you've mentioned this on a previous podcast, as opposed to like Spurs, who you can just sort of pity. But with Man United, it's sort of some kind of visceral hatred there. Like, um, but yeah, they're below Bournemouth.
It's
So
but
yeah.
no, but it's at the stage now, whereas even my most deluded Man United friend, who I love dearly, but talks so much rubbish about Man United,
Yeah.
has now gone quiet. And so now
Hmm.
it's not even, can't even ridicule him anymore. It's just sad. It's like, you know, I never thought I'd get to that stage where,
Are you
uh,
saying they've become Spurs, Dan? Because that's how I feel about Spurs these days. Like, I'm just like, it's so
no,
like
but at least Spurs, like, they show signs of life. At least they have a style of football, you know, like, but this is just like
they
flatline. They
show
are
signs of
like, it's just a dead,
life.
dead team. Like, it's just no resuscitating this team.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
it's hilarious. I do love it. I mean, I will
Yeah.
never
I mean,
get
please,
bored.
please give him a longer contract. Like,
Now,
just come on.
that's where I'm at. I'm at the stage where I need him to start winning some games so we can stay a little bit longer, at least until December
Uh,
when we play them. And then after, after we play them and kick their ass, then,
yeah.
fine. But yeah, I'll never get bored of Man United being rubbish. It's
I mean, it is just
They were the
brilliant.
bane of my childhood, so
Yeah. Tell me
long may it
about it.
continue.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoyed Arsenal being rubbish for a few years, even though our rubbish was still like FA Cup winning.
Well, this is what I
So
mean. Like, this was way worse. Like, I
Oh,
thought
dude.
our banter era was bad, and we
Mm,
were in the mud. We were in the doldrums. It was terrible. This is worse, right?
mm.
And
Yeah.
happily
Yeah, it is.
worse.
But you know what? I've spoken about this before, how, so with Ferguson, you had like a legacy manager, right? And with Arsenal, we had a legacy manager in Wenger. Okay, maybe not quite, not quite as long, but we went through you know, the latter Wenger years, which, I'm pretty sure some of us would like to forget many aspects of that. But I think it was also, we brought in Emery, and he had some sort of, you could say, limited success, I suppose. But then instead of then we went with Mikel, and Mikel's done really well with us. With United, it's really weird. Like, since they lost their Wenger, since they lost Alex Ferguson, they've just been through a series of different managers who have been equally, as as unsuccessful as they could be. So,
well, let's look at it. There's been seven different managers if you include Ryan Giggs, who only did 4 games. There's some big names there. There's Van Gaal, there's
mm.
Mourinho, and it
Ryan
looks to
Giggs
me
had
that
more court cases than games as manager, to be fair.
boom.
Oi!
So look, they won the FA Cup, they won the League Cup, they won the Europa League and Community Shield in that time, which is four
Mm.
trophies, which by their standards is very, very bad. And I don't see a Premier League in there.
Yeah.
Like it hasn't been completely useless. Like they have still, I mean, it's a long, long time since Arsenal have won a European trophy. I'd love us to have won a Europa League.
Mm. Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Although they did have
You
Chad
know.
Mourinho for 2 years, and That's
Mm.
what he got for them.
Well, I
You know,
blame Unai Emery for that.
Yeah, me too. I
yeah, the
remember
one Europa
watching.
League he didn't win, right?
Exactly that. Exactly. It's his friggin' trophy, and he
I
not
have
even
a
just.
I have a theory about Unai Emery.
Yeah.
He only wins with teams that have Villa or Villa in the name.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think
Sevilla did good. Aston Villa
Aston Villa, yeah.
doing all right. Yeah.
Arcelvia didn't really work
No,
out.
it didn't work. No, no, no.
I think he's probably learned how to speak.
Via Real, that worked out. Like,
Paris Saint-Germain?
oh wait,
No.
did he manage Paris Saint-Germain?
He did, yeah.
Ah, shit. Okay, I lost that one.
Soz.
You just ruined the entire thing, mate. Come on.
Sorry, mate.
So, guys, we're playing Bournemouth on Saturday. How are we feeling about the game?
I'm feeling like I'm going to watch it at 9:30 in the morning because I live in California. And I'm gonna make some breakfast, and I'm gonna have a cup of herbal tea, and I'm
Very
gonna watch the
nice.
game in my dressing gown. What do you want me to say? I think it's a game that Arsenal should win based on league position and the fact that on paper Arsenal are a much better team than Bournemouth. I haven't watched Bournemouth this season. I don't know anything about what they're going to bring at all, other than I expect Arsenal to win, regardless of the injury situation.
Well, as you said earlier, it's going to be interesting to see how we set up. You know, Mikel has, Mikel will do something that, apparently none of us expect, and it will just happen, and for some reason it will work. I
I,
hope. Like,
I know it's frustrating for fans, but I rather like how vague he is about injury updates.
oh,
You
dude,
know,
he's no, I like it a lot.
we're speaking on Tuesday, so there's probably not going to be a press conference for another 3 days.
Mm,
But the way that yeah, you can't go on the Arsenal website and see a list of players' names next to their injuries and their projected comeback dates anymore. Like the club's keeping that stuff close to their chests.
mm.
Is it to screw with opponents so they don't know, who they're actually going to be playing against? Maybe. If so, I like it.
I love it. I think it's awesome. Even when Odegaard obviously had a really bad ankle injury before the Tottenham game, Mikel still said, "Well, he's working hard. We'll see how it goes." It's like clearly this guy's going
It's
to be
true,
out for
actually.
weeks, and he was
Yeah.
still like wouldn't give it away that Odegaard is out for a
Yeah.
long time.
The thing that was
Ted,
funny about that happening though is that I was as a fan, as Tom just mentioned, as a fan, I was just thinking, oh, he's all right then. Like,
I
but
never got why they divulged that information anyway. I
mm,
never got that. They don't owe us anything as fans. They don't owe the media anything. They
mm,
don't need to tell you how long a player's out for or whatever it is. Why would you, if you want to try and keep the other team in the dark about who you might play and how you might set up? If they know certain players are not available, then, it never made sense to me. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
loving
You want the fog of war. You want to obfuscate, and you don't want to make it too obvious for your opponents what they're going to be preparing for.
exactly.
I think it's good. It's part of the dark arts that new like evil Arsenal 2.0 under Mikel Arteta are inflicting on a poor, unsuspecting,
so funny.
non
Like,
cheating Premier League. Yeah,
yeah,
especially poor little Man City. My God, not being able to cope with all these nasty things we're doing. Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, I predict an Arsenal win. I predict 3-1.
3-1, like it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll go 3-0. I think
Nice.
I think away from home defensively, we are, you know, awesome. So I think away from home we can be more pragmatic, and the impetus isn't on us to go out and completely blitz this team. We can, be patient and take our chances, which I think we'll do. Regardless of the injuries, as you say, I think the squad's in a place now where if we do have a few injuries, we still should be able to beat Bournemouth. It's taken us a few years to get here, but I'm quite confident that we go there and do the business.
Mm. Well, building on Dan's confidence, I'm going to say 5-0.
Strong. Okay, I hope so.
I'm going to say 5-0. And it's funny also, I actually think it's a bit weird. Like, we play really well away from home. Um, so yeah.
But as I said,
I'm,
like at
you know,
home is like more of an obligation for us to go out and
mm,
attack and attack and attack, and that's when we kind of get caught in
mm.
silly situations
Oh, so
like we have the past couple of games.
it's like entertainment, like
Well, yeah,
um,
there's an expectation if you're at home,
mm,
especially against a weaker team, so to speak, then the obligation, the expectation is you go out there and
mm,
put the pressure on and score goals, and that leaves us vulnerable. I think away from home, there's less impetus on us to do that.
mm.
It's still an obligation for us to go and get the 3 points, but it doesn't really matter how. I don't think anyone would be too fussed if it was 1-0 and all that matters is the 3 points, right? It's just
Well, as we said earlier, we're like, we learned to love the Arsenal during the 90s, so 1-0 to the Arsenal is, you know,
yeah, we'll take it.
yeah, we'll take it. Well, guys, it's been great.
Yeah, been good fun.
Yeah, definitely. Another international break, you know.
Woo! Finished, baby.
Finished. Yeah.
Mm.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.